Last night, I met the most unusual spectacle I've ever encountered. I joined a randoms lobby for cruising and stuff, because, that's what other people do on this game. And one of the people that joined was a furry who sounded exactly like Sheen Estevan from Jimmy Neutron, saying that his favorite car was a Nissan Suru. Now, I normally wouldn't be bothered by this, but this guy, he was devoted. He was a devout Suru believer, and I literally have no idea why. I'm not really bothered by the fact that he was a furry. I mean, like, I normally pay no attention to furries, but I mean, this guy, he was going off. He was going absolutely berserk in the party chat, discussing why the Nissan Suru is the greatest car known to man. Now, as most of you know from past videos, I have explained why I hate the Nissan Suru, because it's quite possibly the worst car ever made. And somehow, it was the most requested car for Forza Horizon 5. And I have no idea why so many people love it, especially this weirdo. Now, as this is a festival playlist where you can actually unlock the Nissan Suru, I hate this thing so much, but, just for today, I'm going to try and find something out about this thing that will make me believe why people like this thing so much, because I'm not kidding you, it sucks. It's not even cool. It's just a four-door Nissan sedan. Now, it says 10 right down there. This car is from 2010, but I'm telling you right now, it is not from 2010. This is from, like, the early 90s or something like that. It's from Mexico, but that doesn't mean, like, that this thing should be a reason to like it. What's that other Mexican car that we got? It's right back here somewhere. What is it? Where is it? This thing. The Vool 05RR. I love this thing. This thing is from Mexico too. I love it. And I would understand why this thing would be most requested, because it looks cool. This thing was in Motorsport 7. It's in Motorsport 8. And it was in Horizon 4. It was like the last car ever added, I think. And then now it's in Horizon 5. I love this thing. I used this one in a challenge, but it's not even that great. It only has a 1.6 liter 4-pop. It has 105 horsepower. It's front-wheel drive. It does weigh less than a metric ton, which is okay. That's about the only decent thing about it. But it doesn't, I don't know. It's just, this thing is not cool at all. And I swear, I'm not trying to rage bait anyone when I say this, but it's probably the worst car in Horizon 5. It's worthless. Okay, so this thing will do 100 miles an hour, but it's still struggling past that. I mean, 113, 114, okay. Okay, but this thing, see, I just went down the hill and it's slowing down. It was going about 129, I think, and it's slowing down. Now, I do understand that there are cars that are slower than this. What's that one Sierra car called? The 700R? I love this car. This is a fun car. It's quick around corners. It's not that fast. I can only do about 75 miles an hour. But it's cool. It is fun. It weighs less than 1,000 pounds. And it is a fun car. But this thing, it just isn't. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into the festival, and I'm going to try and find something that is worth noting this thing as alright. I literally have no idea why, other than it was a taxi from Mexico. In fact, I think it's right here. Yeah, so in Mexico, these things are taxis. There's literally like a thing right there. But that's about the only visual customization that is appealing. If you were to put a racing wing, which, is the most hideous thing known to man in Forza, if you were to put this thing on there, it would look like that Holden, what's it called? The hella yella looking one. It looks like that, which is reasonably okay. But the rest is just atrocious. Now, I will say this, okay? I will say that there are a lot of engine swaps for this car. I will admit there's probably more engine swaps in this than there are well, in any other car in the game. I will admit that to you right now, that the upgrades you can do to this thing are, they're okay. The upgrades are fine. The customization is ass. It is literal ass. The only cool thing about this, and it's not even cool, it's just a fact that the only reasonably cool thing for the customization on this car is the fact that you can put a taxi knob looking thing on top of the roof. That's about it. And then when you come down to the painting options, I think this thing only oh, never mind. Okay, so it does have more colors. So you got red, which just looks hideous. Lighter blue, which looks disgusting. Yellow, it's a taxi, so I mean, that's fine. And then whatever the hell this is. There's so many things about this car that I don't understand why people like it. I really don't. Now, I'm not one of the world's top drivers in Forza, but I do like to claim that I am one of the best on a controller. And in terms of tuning, I feel like I know what I'm doing. So when you look at all this stuff that I've done, I feel like I have a pretty good idea as to how this turd is going to be handling. Now, I'm not going to do any races because there's no point. Whoa! Okay, well, it likes to... Wait a second. Did I put on drift tires? Did I put on drift tires or racing tires? Because I know that... Oh, wait, no, I did. Did I put... Yeah, I did. I did put on racing tires. So already, it's kicking out, even when I'm not trying to make it kick out. It's just uncontrollable. So let me go back. 345 horsepower, that should do it. So we're going down from 545 to 345. We did lose 200 horsepower, but I'm gonna see if that will make it much more controllable. Because as I've said before, unless you have all-wheel drive, too much horsepower in a rear-wheel drive car will make it undrivable. Oh, jeez, man. Even with 345 horsepower in rear-wheel drive, this thing still wants to kick out. This car just isn't it, dude. This car just stinks. The problem is that it's so light that you can't put a whole lot of horsepower into it unless you increase the weight of it or something. You can't put a whole lot of horsepower into it because it's so light. It's like a Caterham. Caterhams are very light, and they only have about 100 to 200 horsepower, because if it were to go beyond that, it would just be undrivable. So we've gone down again to 210 horsepower because it's just pathetic. This thing just stinks. There we go. All right. Oh, a little bit of a kick out back there, but that was recovered. Not bad. Okay, so with my knowledge of racing cars, now expanded thanks to Racer, he brought up the whole front weight thing. I've turned this thing into a reasonably fun racing car. And you are able to kick out the back just a little bit, like so. But it's okay. So what I'm gonna do now is actually build a drift car because I'm fairly confident that it. Oh, hello. What did I do here? What the hell? I just got. Wait, what? Hold up. I just completed a challenge from last week. What the heck? I didn't even realize that was possible. You can still complete challenges from last week. What the hell? I'm fairly certain that when people like the Suru, they're not wanting to get it for this sort of thing. They probably want to take it drifting. So I'm just gonna save this build because it is actually a decent build. When people like to upgrade this thing, they primarily take it drifting. Am I right in saying that? If this thing actually like did compete in racing, which I highly doubt that it did, but if this thing did compete in like Dakar racing or rally racing, I might have a little bit more respect for this thing. But the fact that it's just a taxi from Mexico, this is the murder taxi. I am not the world's best drifter. I'm not even in the top 65 million. But, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to drift this thing. Yep, and I'm out. And if you're watching this video right now and you're about to put in some hate comment saying that I'm the world's worst drifter, I literally stated just a second ago that I am not the world's best drifter. I'm not even in the top 60 million. I hate this thing with a passion, so my desire for trying to make this thing a good drift car, it's not even there. I just want to see if this thing can drift. So, okay, so that actually was pretty close to my original score, but I don't know. Is it a good drift car? I have no idea. Someone else will have to tell me in the comment section. So now I'm gonna try and just see if I can build this thing into a insane off-roader. Well, not insane, just a decent one. I've already had someone say that this thing is actually really decent in B class. I do have pretty decent cars in B class as well, so I'm gonna see if I can compare this thing to any of my top B class cars. So a little while ago, me and Gabe tested out the Ford F-150 Raptor, the new one, and the new Mustang when we were going up our duo drive to see which one was faster up the mountain. I'm going to go on this side of the mountain. I still hate this thing, but if there is something that can make this thing appealing, to me at least, then I might show a little bit more respect for it, even though it has the world's worst story ever. Alright, so here we go. Now, I will say one thing in particular that is nice about this car. It does have decent ride height. It is high off the ground. Oh, it's still sliding. Even when weight reduction is applied, this thing still is sliding. What the hell? Even when this thing... Actually, you know what? Hold up. Real quick. I'm just going to tune this thing. I'm going to try and tune it so that it's going out this way a bit. Because most rally cars are like that. They have, like, the driving distribution is, like, 40 to the front, 60 to the back, so they have more kicking out angle and stuff, which is, you know, good in some cases. And it looks like that actually is helping, I think. I think that is helping. Oh, we got a drift zone coming up, so I'm going to try and see if I can... Probably most likely not, but if I somehow, like, break this thing... Yeah, no, there's just no way. Off-road drift zones are just the worst, honestly. I mean, to some people they are, and some people they're not. To me, I find them a little bit challenging, but... You know, it's whatever. Some of them are fine. This one's actually kind of fun. If you're using all-wheel drive, it's fun. When you're using rear-wheel drive, it's just misery, dude. Drifting is not what I mostly specialize in. I do rallying and circuit racing and stuff, not off-road drifting. That's like combining like an elephant to go swimming with a bicycle. It just doesn't work. Elephants can swim, but not with a bicycle. With me rallying and all of a sudden a drift zone comes up, it just doesn't work. Alright, well, we reached the sort of the summit, I think. This is kind of funny because this is where the video actually began, which is actually fitting because it means I can give my conclusion about this car. Now, I will admit, that was actually quite fun, taking this thing up the mountain, but I still remain unconvinced that there is anything on this car that is actually worth making this thing cooler than it already is. Excuse me. And I do just have to say that there are tons of really horrible cars on the market. America had the Pontiac Aztek, the Chrysler PT Cruiser. I mean, those are dreadful, horrible cars that really should have never seen the light of day. The new Beetle is atrocious. Mini Countrymen, those are horrible. Even some Subarus, they weren't all that great back in the day. But this probably has to be still the worst car ever made. I really do not understand why this thing was most requested. It's not cool looking. It has a dumb story. So I really do not understand when that furry was saying that the Subaru is the greatest car ever known to man. I will say one thing. It is the greatest thing at something. It's the greatest worst car ever made. It's probably the champion of the worst cars. It outbeats the new it outbeats the new Beetle, the Chrysler Cruiser, and the Pontiac Aztek. It beats all of those because of how horrible this thing is. I do realize that in Horizon 5, we don't have to worry about crash statistics. We don't have to worry about airbags and, you know, braking distance and all of that. Well, actually, no, braking distance is actually important. But my point is that we don't have to worry about real life problems. But on this channel specifically, we like to be realistic. And that's why a lot of the videos that I post show stock cars, because we like to be realistic. We like to show how great cars can be without being upgraded. And even when this thing is bone stock, it is just awful. It is hideous. Is it better than a Peel P50? Yes, technically, but a Peel P50 is still satisfying because it's a funny car. It is small, it can fit through tight spaces that this thing will never go through, and so much more. So that's why on this channel I am comfortable with saying it's just the worst car in real life, because like I just said, we like to be realistic about these sorts of things. In real life, this thing has no airbags, no assisted steering, no assisted brakes, no anti-lock brakes. It's just a horrible, horrible car, and it's remained the same design for the past 20 years. It's been the same thing for 20 years. The GTR R35 has remained the same looking thing for the past 15 years as well, but at least that was improved. It was made greater over time. This isn't. It's remained the exact same for 20 years, which is unacceptable, even by Nissan. Nissan's made a lot of great things over the past 20 years, and this wasn't. So, with my ranting aside, do please comment in the comment section if you are a Nissan Subaru enthusiast. Do please explain to me why this thing is so great and why it was the most requested car, beating the Bugatti Bolide, which in my opinion really should have been first place. Do explain to me why this thing beat that. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe if you want to see more of this content in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned for more, and peace out.